Let's look at a theory Japanese fans still talk about. 3 admirals, 3 labels on their chests. And you've probably read each one a dozen times without really asking, wait, where did those come from? Because think about it. Nobody just wakes up one morning and writes absolute justice on their heart. That's not a philosophy. That's a scar. So I went down this rabbit hole, and here's what caught my attention. In Volume 64's SBS, Oda-sensei actually breaks it down himself, not as backstory, but almost like a warning. And the way Japanese readers have been sitting with that answer is completely different from how most of us in the global fanbase processed it. Here's the thing. The word seigi, written with the characters for righteous and duty, in Japanese carries this weight of moral correctness, not just law enforcement. It's the kind of word you'd use for something universal, something above the system. So, when Akainu stamps absolute justice on himself, one reading that keeps coming up among Japanese fans is that this isn't pride, it's armor. You build a philosophy that's rigid when you're terrified of what happens if you allow any exceptions. And then there's Kizaru. Unclear justice, sitting back, watching Akainu and Aokiji fight it out, and then calmly picking the position that works best. Did you notice that? He doesn't struggle. He observes. It's impossible to prove, but many readers have noticed that Kizaru's detachment feels less like laziness and more like a choice. The man who refuses to commit is the man who refuses to be broken. I know, right? But here's where it gets deeper. Because Aokiji didn't start where he ended up. That's the part most global fans miss. Volume 64 confirms it. He once carried burning justice. Not the sleepy guy on the bicycle. A man on fire. And something put that fire out. Not gradually, but at a single moment. Ohara, watching his best friend Sauro be frozen alive. Watching innocent people burn. And many Japanese readers interpret what followed as this. Burning justice in a system like this doesn't save anyone. It just makes you useful to the people giving the orders. And this is where Aokiji stops being a contradiction and becomes something else entirely. One reading is that he didn't become lazy. He became someone who decided that if the system will use your passion against the innocent, then you keep your passion somewhere the system can't reach it. Lazy justice was the one thing he could believe in without becoming Akainu. 3 men. 3 wounds with labels on them. One man who turned his wound into a weapon. One man who buried his wound so deep he's not sure he still feels it. And one man who watched a friend disappear into the ice. And quietly rewrote everything he believed in. The justice you carry says everything about the moment you stopped trusting the world. Oda-sensei didn't give us 3 philosophies. He gave us 3 different answers to the same question. What do you do when the thing you believed in breaks you? And what's striking is that none of them believe they're wrong. That's what makes it so hard to look away. Here's what I want to leave you with, though. If you were standing in Aokiji's place at Ohara, watching the fire, watching Sauro sink, what would you have written on your chest to survive it?